Yo everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood podcaster Zen here, and welcome to Unmasked. This is the second episode of this podcast, and in this episode, I thought that I'd dig a little bit deeper into talking about my history with being a fan of Hololive and Holostars. So, I think that we should talk about what the VTuber community is in general first before we actually go into Hololive, just so that if there's any viewers who are listening right now or watching on YouTube, to explain what exactly this community is sort of about. And on streaming platforms like Twitch, YouTube, and several other lesser known platforms, but there are streamers who play games. They could do ASMR, they do a bunch of activities in a live stream, which is basically live video, live audio. And not everybody wants to show their face though. So instead, what some people do is that they use a virtual avatar, a drawn character that can come in the form of a PNG or an animated 2D or 3D model, and this community is called the VTUBERS, virtual YouTubers. And they pretty much do more or less the same kind of activities that a regular streamer would do. And the route that you would take with being a VTuber can vary. There's the independent VTubers who kind of just stream on their own, they're their own kind of like brand. There's people who become friends with other VTubers and have their own sort of social group. There are also corpo VTubers who are a part of an agency, a business. And they are a group of streamers, and some of them also have responsibilities and certain tasks that they're usually a part of, such as with singing. A group like this, for example, is Hololive, and they're pretty much, if not the most known VTuber agency out there. They have VTubers who come from Japan, Indonesia, English-speaking countries. They are categorized by the language that they predominantly speak, and they also divide the branches between male and female talents. There's lineages within these branches. You have, for example, Hololive English, and they have a first generation, the first talents that are involved with that group. But as time moves on and they add more talents to the roster, that's where they can come out with a new group, or a second generation, or a third generation, and these generations just keep going as time goes by. And partly the reason why I know all of this is quite a long story, but I'll do my best just to give some of the pickings. So originally, before Hololive, I was a part of a gaming fan base, and I'll talk more about what that fan base is in a later episode. But I was just unhappy, I was just dissatisfied, and this was not a community that I wanted to be a part of anymore. But there was a big question on my mind as to, if not watching or doing activities surrounding that community, then what am I going to do next? And so I looked at several YouTubers who I used to watch but watch infrequently because I was so concerned and focused on doing stuff with this fan base. One of those YouTubers is Lost Pause. He's an anime YouTuber, I'd say, where he just looks at anime memes, talks about anime shows, and plays games, and does all sorts of stuff around the topics of anime. And from Lost Pause, I think I've heard that he was friends with the anime man, who kind of more or less does similar stuff to Noble or Lost Pause. And the anime man, Joey, is friends with CDogVA. who's a voice actor, he streams, and CDogVA is friends with Iron Mouse, who is a VTuber, a part of the VTuber group VShoujo. And Iron Mouse is a VTuber, and I've heard about VTubers before because Noble did a collab with one VTuber who I'm forgetting the name of, but they had collabs several times before. I also heard about VTubers because of people like Inugami Korone, who was a part of Hololive, and people like Kizuna Ai, who I believe arguably is the first VTuber who I've watched before, but discontinued watching her content. But from Iron Mouse, that's when I became more open to the VTuber world. That's when I started hearing about names like Gargura, and Gura was someone that I watched clips of, just bits and pieces of her stream in videos. And I didn't think that I would fall deeper into the rabbit hole until a certain event happened, unfortunately, with my family around December of 2021. So I have a sister who unfortunately caught COVID, and because of that, there were several originally planned Christmas activities that we were wanting to do together, but didn't end up doing that, and I was really scared. I was very saddened by the news of what happened to my sister, but I just wanted her to rest just to get better, and I was fine with not doing those activities. But I was left with the question of, what's next? What do we do next? How can I still enjoy my winter break? Christmas is only in several days from now. And so I look at my YouTube recommended, and I see that Hako's Bales and Onashimume, that they're doing a collab, that they're doing a watch along, that they were watching the movie Elf. And so even though I was a little bit late to the stream, I decided, why not? Let's give it a try and see if I'm going to enjoy being a part of VTuber streams. And I did. I really felt that I had a home there, that I could just chill out and relax and enjoy time with these streamers. And these girls were quite amusing. Bei is quite chaotic. Mume is quite adorable. They were my gateway VTubers into Hololive. And ever since then, I just so happy. I found myself following the other, watching the other girls, enjoying their content, and I just thought to myself, wow, I've never smiled and laughed so much before in my life. And I made a mission state to myself that here I am, commenting on their live stream chat, telling jokes, having fun with them. I thought to myself, this is my mission statement, that I want to at least make one person laugh or smile. I want to carry on the kind of happiness that I was given. It was really the greatest Christmas present that I could ever have. So yeah, I was continuing to watch people like Gargura, Ninamai Inanis, or Ina, people like Takanashi Kiara, people like Calliope Mori, people like Amelia Watson. Weird enough for me to say, but just the fact that I could just watch them play games, or draw art, or do whatever it is, and feel like I could be a part of a community where I didn't feel like I need to constantly hold myself to a certain standard at a time where I didn't feel like I needed to really be someone except for myself. That kind of happiness was just something that I cherished each and every day. I just tried to watch their streams as much as I could. And I was so proud of their achievements too. How they were able to finally get up on that stage of HoloFest. And HoloFest is essentially a concert, like almost like a virtual, not really a virtual concert, but you can go to an arena or there's like they have some stage, and I'm not really sure how the technology works, if it's just like screens on a stage or if there's like holograms or something like that. But yeah, they just have like some projection of their model onto that stage, and they give performances of covers or of their original songs, and it was quite an emotional time. I think it was Kiara and Ina who were once doing a watch along of HoloFest, and they were just talking about how they wanted to get up on that stage one day. And so being able to watch them perform, it was quite really an emotional moment. I don't think that I was in the fan base long enough, or as long as compared to other people, to really see how their journey from their debut up to that point, what that kind of emotional weight that kind of held. And so I was still happy, really, really happy, just cheering them on. And I continued watching their streams until summer came around. When summer came around, that's when my sister graduated. And after her graduation, after we had our nice family trip together, that's when I needed to prepare more and get ready for an internship, a summer internship, where I was going to work with a faculty mentor of my choosing and conduct research within, was it 2 to 3 months, I believe, and get a research paper done. And while I was able to continue working in that internship, it was becoming more difficult to watch my favorite streamers, my favorite VTubers. I continued watching people like Bay and Fauna. So Hololive English is kind of like split. Its first generation being Hololive Myth, and its second generation being Hololive Council. And I think that I watched more of the girls from Hololive Council, like Bay and Fauna, and up until that point, that I had to really become busy and laser focused on what I was doing as a part of that scholarship, that I just sort of stopped watching them. I didn't want to, because I knew that as I was going to continue with this scholarship, that there was just going to be more added pressure, more stress, more fear. And so leaving sort of a space where I felt happy and confident and relaxed, it was difficult. But after my scholarship finished, or my internship finished, I'm still a little bit confused about that part, but when the program ended, I went back to watching Fauna and Bay's streams. And I remember in one of Bay's streams, a power wash simulator stream, that she was talking about how there are open auditions for HOLOstars English. And just to recap, that's the male branch of Hololive. I dreamt about this branch being formed. I knew about the HOLOstars. I didn't really watch the Japanese boys, but I just thought that it would be cool that if one day that this branch would be formed, then I felt that sort of, I guess, in a male way, I guess, sort of relate to these boys more. I love the girls, don't get me wrong. But I thought that I would continue just supporting the girls and watching them, and I'll say, even to this day, that I still say that I support the girls. I sort of gradually stopped watching them again when HOLOstars made their debut. The HOLOstars were quite the punch. You got Regis Altair, who I thought on first impression kind of looked like a Super Saiyan. I think that I'll add a picture of him in the edit of this podcast. So you've got Regis Altair, who's looking like a Gajinka Smurf, who's looking like a Super Saiyan Blue. You've got Axel Serios, who sometimes just really doesn't have a filter between his brain and his mouth, but he's quite the hard worker. You've got Vesper Noir, smart as hell guy, and weird as hell too. You've also got Magni Desmond, Alchemist, the great Magni Desmond, who's got the abilities to improvise and has got creativity of his own kind. It was really something. And above that, above these boys just being so talented, they've got a really talented and welcoming, almost familial following too. Both the talents and the fan base is what wanted me to stay. So before the stream, you can go into a waiting room where the live stream chat, well, is still open, so you can talk to your friends, other fans in the community. It's just a chatting room, essentially. And I was really shy to introduce myself. I think how I introduced myself was saying, "Yo, it's your boy Spider-Man," and or something dumb like that. And I was still infrequently joining pre-chat because usually when I join the girls' streams, it's usually when they're live. But for some reason along the way, I'm not really sure the moment that I decided to really stay and constantly, more frequently join pre-chat. But I have an idea of when that happened. So a little bit of a context before I continue with this story. So Crony, she was talking about how in one stream, how she just loves Subway sandwiches. And she's got some Subway sandwiches in her fridge that have just been there for a couple of days. And her cronies, her fans, were just like, "Ah, Crony, you're really doing that?" And it's like, "Oh," and like the other girls were like, "Oh." And there was one stream where Crony took Subway sandwiches, put them in a blender. I think maybe she added some water too, and she blended them, and like having these different smoothies, these different Subway smoothies that she just drank, and they were revolting. It was disgusting, but she still did it. Just dedication to the bed. I freaking love Crony. But I thought, okay, can't be that bad, right? I'm telling the people in Alters pre-chat, it can't be that bad, right? And so what I do is, because where I was living, my dormitory was literally next door to a Subway. So I thought, all right, guys, what I'm about to do is go to Subway. I'm gonna get an all-American sub, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put it in a blender, and I'm gonna drink it. I actually didn't blend the sandwich because it was a part of my dinner, and I didn't want to have a freaking Subway sandwich smoothie for dinner. So I pretend I go along with a bit, and I'm like, experimental log, entry number 1, I'm about to embark on a journey that no cold tear slime has ever gone through before, that I am about to replicate Crony's experiment. I'm about to do this for science, and it may kill me, it may not, but I'm going to do this for science. And so I'm just like chugging this down in 3, 2, 1. Like, oh my. And the people in Alters pre-chat, they're like, "Oh my god, Zen just died. He's done. We lost him. He lasted faster than when he first came in." My reaction was, "Oh, you guys are just overreacting. It can't be that bad." And then I just dropped to the floor or something. I just showed to them that I just freaking died. And people are like, "Oh my god, Zen's just died." And so that's more or less, I think, when I decided I'm having fun with these people. I want to stay. And I think that Subway sandwich bit was part of that. I did that bit in October. And it's been there were other times when I continued with that experimental log, forgot which cursed foods that I did. But I have a feeling that I continued with that log. But there's another story where it's really fuzzy in my mind. There's only fragments of the story. But I'll just tell you what I remember. I remember that there was this one culture slime who was just like, I need eggs. I'm running out of eggs. And so I thought, I wonder if Altair is capable of laying eggs, and so that I can get those eggs and give it to my friend. And so I told the chat, I wonder if Altair is capable of laying eggs. And they're like, the fuck are you thinking, Zen? What are you thinking? And I'm gonna ask Altair. And so I send him a super chat. I make a donation to him with a message saying, are you capable of laying eggs? And I still have a screenshot of, well, not a screenshot, but I literally just took out my phone and took a picture of my screen just to keep those memories with me, because I know that I'd be looking back at them one day. There were several moments within, I believe it was not only Altair's, but also Magni's pre-chat and also Fauna's pre-chat, where there's just a lot of crazy stuff where I was just saying a lot of unhinged things, unsay-so things, as they would say. There was also one time where I was just basically asking Altair's fans, the Cultair, I wonder if Altair has lost No Nut November yet, because it was in November. And they're like, Sen, what the fuck? I'm like, hold on, let me just pull out my wallet out. And they're like, Sen, don't do this. You don't need to. Why are you? And then I pull out, and then I ask Altair, have you lost No Nut November yet? And they're like, Sen, what are you saying? I was just, I don't know. This is when I truly was the poster boy of degeneracy. I also loved creating alt accounts and coming up with random characters. Some based off of celebrities, some not, and I'll get to the ones that aren't in the feed and later in the episode. And so I had one character named Mr. Fred Steal Your Girl Rogers, and I think that there was one slime who was saying that they couldn't get any sleep, so while I was Fred Rogers, was like, do you mind if I sing you a lullaby? And they're like, no tricks. And then I start copy and pasting the lyrics of This Fire Burns by, I think it was Kill Switch. I could be wrong about that. Some like, even through the darkest days, this fire burns always. I swear that I'm a better singer than that, but you get the point. And so it was just crazy antics like that just still stick into my mind even to this day. Also, that's not where the story ends with Mr. Fred Rogers. I think there was at least some rumor, or this could be a confirmed fact, that Mr. Rogers was once a soldier. And so I thought, I'm gonna give a recital of this one video titled Mickey Never Came Back. And that's a video by a YouTuber named Ethereal Snake. So let me give, if I can do my best to voice act this, the prologue of that video. Give a farmer seed and it'll create food. Give a musician a melody and it'll create music. Give a soldier an enemy and it'll create nothing. He only destroys, kills. I wonder if God watches the events that unfurl when men take up arms against men.
And I'm afraid that when I die, God will care about the things I've done. But I think I'm more afraid that he won't. That I'll sit there, picking his nails, barely able to summon the energy to judge me. Because what then? What if bad men aren't judged fairly? Because people tell me to fear hell. But there comes a point where you've done such awful things that you have to wonder if the devil will welcome you as a friend when you arrive. The truth is, I don't believe in anything. In one of Alter's streams, he was playing Minecraft, and he made a little underground prison that he called Room 4, where he puts certain prisoners in. And people are like, ooh, this is where we gotta put Zen. So when Zen comes to pre-chat, we're gonna put this guy in Room 4, so to speak, figuratively. And so I didn't watch that stream when it was live. So when people were like, welcome Zen, we're gonna put you in Room 4 now, I'm like, the hell is Room 4? And why am I going in there? And like, you know why, Zen. You gotta pay for your crimes. Your time is up, you can't run anymore. Gosh, yes. This was bound to happen at some point. And so, yeah, they did stuff like that. They put me in prison. They tied me to a ceiling or something like that. They did all crazy sorts to try to keep me down, but they couldn't hold down the poster boy of degeneracy. Coming towards the late of November, I was someone who really wanted to continue to do these bits, these skits, have fun with my fellow Coltaire. And so I took every chance that I could, looking at different videos on how to improve my comedy, studying different comedy styles, thinking of jokes while I was in the shower, when I was on my way to school or university. And I was doing a group project in my cultural psychology class where we were just talking about the Philippines. And I talked about like Spanish colonization and how the Philippines was kind of like imperialized by Spain, and how they became free, but when World War II came about, they had to earn the freedom again from America. But in each case, whether it be like the Spain with the food, or I think like the names too, or like America, like how they help us economically, sort of like politically, I said a joke that I did not know how well that would settle in with the crowd, but I just thought that would be funny if I said, so you can go ahead and invade our country, but make sure to bring a gift basket. I'm not sure if those were the exact words verbatim. And while, my group mates were, laughing, I just got this blank stare from the crowd, and I was like, oh, shiz. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes the jokes land, sometimes they miss. That's just a part of trying out with your hobbies with comedy. I wouldn't say that I'm a comedian, but I do dabble with comedy, especially as I call myself a chat entertainer. Now, this is a moment where I said this is possibly where I lay down my foundation. It's arguable today of whether I can really call that the moment where I had my best moment, but it's what I refer to as the alter pregnancy bit. And by that name alone, you can probably start thinking, Zen, what the heck were you talking about? What did you do, my man? And I'll tell you right now, right here, right now, exactly what I did. So it was just another day in pre-chat, and I forgot what it was, but I was basically thinking these new gifted members, and if you're unfamiliar with gifted memberships on YouTube, so It's just basically a way for streamers to get money and to give back to the fans. What it is, you know, you basically pay for a membership and you can get access to things like emotes or early access to streams or whatever the rewards of different tiers that the streamer will be rewarding. But when you have your membership, you can gift memberships. I think it was like 5, 20, you know, different amounts. And so someone gave a membership, a gifted membership, and I thought, oh my god, these new people, they're babies to to being a member. And so I was like, oh my gosh, Altair's giving birth in pre-chat. That wasn't what I said. What I said was push Altair push, because when you give the membership, it goes one at a time for each person. So as it was going at one at a time, I was like, push Altair push. And then my friend was like, Sen, what the heck are you saying? And when you give a membership in pre-chat, sometimes the streamer, in this case Altair, he came and said, you know, thank you for your membership. And that's when I said, congratulations on becoming a mother. And that is when, unexpectedly, mind you, that Altair asked, mother? And that's when everyone started yelling me like, Zen, you have awakened Zeus. He's gonna strike you down. What have you done? We rid our hands of you, Zen. We don't know you anymore. He's too far gone. He's beyond saving. And so that's when I truly became the poster boy of degeneracy. That's when people started having theories as to why was this the case. And I was just laughing too much behind the screen just to answer everybody. In a weird way, that's when I truly laid out my foundation. You might be asking, Zen, why were you saying these kind of things? And partly because I wanted to stand out in a way, admittedly. I wanted to be like, I want to be the person who really walked that fine line between breaking the rules and not breaking the rules. Arguably, you could say that I did break the rules. I just really wanted to find that fine line between still being there and being timed and being timed out and possibly banned. That's why I called myself the poster boy of degeneracy. And so afterwards, people were like, Zen, explain. And I did. I recount the story. There was a time when Altair was like, Zen, you gotta chill out, man. Enough with the theories. And yeah, there were people telling me, Zen, you really need to change because you might weird out the newcomers. There might be people who are, you know, below 18 that, you know, what you're talking about isn't really suitable for everybody. You need to be more say-so. And so I said, alright, I'll be more say-so if you say so. And so I changed my username to say so. And people were like, Zen, are you really sure that you're say so? I said that word too many times in the last couple of minutes or so. Please forgive me. But, so I changed my name to say so. And people are like, are you really say so? And so, see, I keep doing it. What they do is ask me, okay, Zen, we're gonna interrogate you. The culture police is here, and we're gonna do a little bit of an investigation. They tell me to pull up my search history. And oh boy, the time couldn't be any funnier because before I joined that pre-chat, I was in a different pre-chat for, I think it was Fano's Minecraft stream, and I forgot what it was, but I still had my name as Say-So in that pre-chat, and the saplings would not believe that. I tried my best to quote-unquote be Say-So, play innocent, and I forgot the context, forgive me, but I remember talking about, I think someone was talking about dessert, and then I was talking about a cream cake, and they're like, oh, Sen. It's like, it wasn't like I said cream pie or anything. That would be again completely different. But still, they were appalled. And they weren't the only fan base that was appalled either, because when I pulled up that search history and I was just going down, oh, I'm just looking, just a couple of Google searches, a couple of YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, and there was just one search that I had for a recipe of cream cake, and then we're like, hey, yo, what are you talking about, my guy? What are you searching up in your free time? And I'm like, no. You see, there was this one thing where I was having fun with the saplings, and they're like, let's bring Zen to room 4 again. He has clearly not learned his lesson. His name is a lie. And the crowd... I love the crowd. The chat was just moving faster and faster, being like, Zen, what is wrong with you? Fast enough to get Alter's attention, and him to say, friends, keep Zen in line. I believe in the Zen redemption arc. And a part of me in that moment was like, yeah, that's hella funny. But there was also a part of me that said, oh, these people are right. I want to change, but I think it's similar to how when YouTubers find the kind of content that gets them views, that works with the audience that they're sort of catering towards, or they have that it moment, that spark and a flare that ignites the campfire. And for me, just that kind of unsay-so NSFW kind of content, a light NSFW mind you, was kind of the stuff that made people laugh. There were other times definitely when I didn't resort to those kind of what I now consider cheap tricks, but it was just a moment of, you know, some guy just said that, and I wanted to have my name attributed to this kind of content, that where they can say, oh, did you hear about what Zen said? And yeah, there were definitely even people on Discord servers that recognized me, and they were like, oh my god, it's Zen. I took that to heart, but I just continued at it because I didn't know what else to do. Talking about Lo-Fi Wi-Fi, when I joined his stream, I think that was after Alter's pre-chat ended, and so I go to Lo-Fi's stream, and he's like, are you really say so? And I'm like, yeah, I'm say so. It's my name after all. And he's like, oh, we'll see about that. So what he does is he laughs sinisterly, Google, and it makes, I think, like you would call an asset, a picture of Nyanner's feet. And I think that in editing, I'll play that video. If so, I'll do it right now in 3, 2, 1.
I am say so. See, I don't agree with that. And you know what? I have a way to prove it. All right, let me tell you. You know what? No. You know what? Okay, we're gonna prove. What are you doing, Lo-Fi? Oh, you know what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Stop. Don't stop. Please stop. Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're just here to, see if we're just testing something, Okay, all right. See, we have the ultimate stream set up, ladies and gentlemen. We have the ultimate stream set up. Let me make sure my stream is still up. Okay, my stream is still set up. Okay. All right. We're golden. We're pretty golden. All right. Let's get back to gaming. It's kind of distracting. It's okay. It's the ultimate. You know what? It's okay. It's okay if it's a little distracting. All right. So I can't worship Satan in this bitch. What a shame. This gameplay is very attention-grabbing. Yeah. The gameplay is very attention-grabbing. Can't you tell? Yeah. The gameplay sure is intensive, isn't it? It sure is, it sure is very attention grabbing. Yeah, Zen, are you enjoying the gameplay? Enjoying this gameplay, BRB. Yeah, BRB is what they all say. BRB.
So yeah, that's when I was like, I gotta go. I'll be right back. And it was like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. What I loved about the idea of doing skits and bits is that there was creativity. That chat room really just became a place of creativity for me, a place where I could definitely do things that maybe not a lot of, at least within Altair's community, that nobody's done before. That's when I had a lot of brainstorming that I could do on Altair's pre-chat or doing stuff with lo-fi.
So there were ideas around this time which I've already mentioned before, such as with nomology and this podcast. Originally it was supposed to be called the Pre-Chat Podcast, and my initial idea with it was that I would talk about topics that I think could be made public in the form of a podcast. And I didn't end up doing this because I thought that it was just a bad idea. My realization was that I would sort of be siphoning viewers off of the boys, and I didn't want to direct their audience towards my podcast during the pre-chat. So what I thought later on was just to don't siphon off of the viewers. I can try to promote my podcast, which I'm doing now, to people, the HOLOstars fan base. I just rejected that idea entirely. But apart from those ideas, I had the idea of making a musical based off of the history of Hololive English. I had the idea of creating a series of blogs in No Nut November, just quote-unquote documenting and journaling my day-to-day experiences around that time. Just this poster boy of degeneracy, really trying hard to not doing anything unsay so. Around December, I wanted to see if I could toy the idea of adding bots to a YouTube chat, and what I thought was that I would roleplay as Jack Skellington before I would give my skit, rather. That I would have a series of alternative accounts based off of the characters in that opening scene of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and have them just basically recite all of the lyrics from that song while a Twitch stream would be playing that music in sync with these accounts, just reciting these lyrics. There were many ideas that got scrapped, many logistics that I had to think about, and realizations where I said, okay, this is not the best idea. A lot of ideas that were just going down the drain. But there were some, though, that didn't, and made for great moments. So Magni Desmond, who's a member of HOLOstars English, had this one bit where he essentially made this skin-colored, hairless Elmo that he calls Magmo, who has a cult following. And so, Magmo became such a phenomena. Everyone was talking about Magmo. Even in pre-chat, people were just afraid to hear the chant that would summon Magmo, which is Magni. And in one pre-chat, I started doing that. I started making that chant. And people were like, Sen, stop. You're gonna summon Magmo. But other people were chanting along with me. And so while they were chanting, I went ahead and made an account with with my profile picture and my username as Magmo, and I was like, "Who dares disturb my slumber? Who dares summon the almighty Magmo?" People were like, "Oh my god, it's Magmo! You summoned him, you fools! It's the end of the world! We're all doomed!" And I was like, this is pretty great. Everyone's in fear, the world's in panic. This is pure bliss. And so I kept doing bits like that, improvised bits as Magmo, until one of my friends came with their own alt, Magmo alt, and we basically got into a fight. There's 2 Magmos, there's only room for 1 Magmo in this town. And so we had this mini fight, and my character won, but the crowd was dissatisfied because it was a short fight, because we really didn't know what to do. But I told my friend, this is something that if we put in more time and organization and brainstormed more fighting moves and ideas, this is something that can be really great. This is going to be something that they're going to remember. I also had another friend who made a tweet posting like a screenshot of me fighting the other Magmo, and it got quite the amount of likes. So I thought this could be something. So we started working on these documents, brainstorming ideas, trying to make a script. This was during the second day of the concert, so we needed to time it well, because if our skit overlapped with the time when Hololive Expo was going to occur, and from the text that my friend sent me, I thought that we would be doing our skit and then an hour later that Axel, who's another member of HOLOstars English, was gonna do his stream of that convention. But apparently I was wrong. So when we delivered our skit, about halfway or so, that was when people were gravitating their attention towards the stream. So it was very awkward. It was very hard for me to continue. I really felt demotivated to commit to the bit to end the skit. But my friend just motivated me, pushed me on. Not directly, but still in character, just being like, "Oh, are you giving up, Magmo? Is that all you got?" And so I really just had to give all that I gave, all that was left. And I'm glad that I did. Because even though that was the problem, that our timing wasn't just that good, we still delivered a pretty good skit. In the spring of 2023, I took a creative writing class because I wanted to improve my skills as a writer to help prepare myself as I continue with writing nomology. And so we had to write several short stories as an assignment, and I didn't feel ready yet to start working on nomology, so I worked on something else. Magni Desmond also had a stream where he played a WWE game, and he was role-playing as a commentator of Jeff McGinnis, along with his co-host, John Maggington. And there were hints of a little bit of a storyline between John Maggington and Jeff McGinnis, where Jeff McGinnis was basically hitting the yoinky sploinky with John's wife, and Magni really never finished that story. At least in my eyes, he didn't. So I thought it would be cool if he made another WWE stream to see where that story went. What would that story be? So I wrote a story of the name Reclamation, but instead of using those names, Jeff McGinnis and John Maggington, I used 2 different characters, and I'll be exploring what I wrote in that story in another episode. I wish that I could have showed that fanfiction to Des, and that could have given him inspiration to make another WWE stream, but sadly he never did. And trust me when I say that I love doing these kind of creative endeavors, whether they worked or not, but I found myself in a situation where the confidence that I had gained 10 years ago from being a part of this community in the beginning started to diminish. And I'm not gonna point the finger at anybody, but those are just the facts that I felt like this wasn't a place that I wanted to be a part of anymore. Simply put, I was discontented and disheartened. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I still really want to be a part of this community, but what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna quit. And I don't know if I'll ever come back, but right now, this just isn't a place where I want to be around the people in this community, or at least the people that I'm not really close to. It's never easy to say goodbye, especially when you know that you're leaving a place where people love you and you love them, but you're in a state where you just can't continue on. And my final messages were 3 different super chats. At least my final messages in pre-chat anyways. 3 different messages to 3 different streamers. One of which was Battle. And I had to really think about what I wanted to say. Didn't know what to say. But when it came time, when I joined Battle's pre-chat for the last time, maybe the last time, I said, this might be the last stream I watch, but thanks for the memories. Keep smiling, keep laughing, keep moving forwards. Another streamer that I said goodbye to was Haka. My final message in his stream is, this might be my last stream. Faithfully fly to your highest reaches. Take care, Haka and Hakitos. And my final super chat went to the Culter and to Alter. This might be the last time I'm here, but the time I've spent with you and the Culter made were some of the happiest moments in my life. Prosperous livings, adventure evermore. I really regret not sending final super chats to any of the girls, but I swear that if I ever do come back, it will be on one of the girls' channels. And while I don't want you to take my word for it, I feel like that time is coming a little bit closer than you think. If I ever take that path, I think I would be following exactly how I did in the beginning, make my way from Hololive to HOLOstars. But there was one final thing that I did before I decided to log off as Zen in that community. I hosted a farewell ceremony on my Twitter. I had a Twitter space where I sang a couple of songs and I gave a farewell speech. I'm gonna recite that farewell speech right now. And forgive me, it's been a long time. But here I go. Yo, it's your friendly neighborhood commenter Zen. I'd like to thank all of you who have come here today, and all of those listening to the recording. I'm not only here to give my thanks though. I'm here too, for reasons that I can never make public, say my goodbyes. I should be clear about what my absence means. This means that I'm not going to be watching any streams or joining any pre-chats. I'm still participating in 2 fan projects, and when those projects are done, I will no longer be participating in fan projects. My Twitter will still be active, and I'm still open to talking about Hololive and Holostars related content. I doubt that I'll ever return, but never say never. I've enjoyed my stay though. There's a lot of people that I want to thank. I wouldn't be here if the EN girls never introduced me to Hololive. When I first joined this community, I didn't know how long I was going to stay, but I'm glad that I did stay. The girls gave me something to look forward to, whether it be through the games that they played, the music they made, or the collabs they had. Before watching their streams, I had never smiled and laughed so much before. I'm so happy that I've been lucky enough to see all of them debut in their 3D models in HoloFest.
And just as the great Sana wished, I hope that the girls and their fans find happiness. I hope that they keep making positive impacts on the newcomers just as they did with me. I also want to thank all of the boys. I remember watching one of Baze's Power Wash Simulator streams and hearing that there were open auditions for HOLOstars EN. I had dreamed about this guild being formed, and so I was so happy to see HQ debut. I didn't know what to expect, but even if I did have expectations, even if I had standards, these boys still would have exceeded each and every one of them. They stepped up to the plate, came full swinging, and scored in every inning. They made songs together that'll keep ringing for generations to come. They built worlds, told stories, they made memories. They crossed bridges. Most importantly, at the end of the day, when these 4 original horsemen stand side by side and they look back at what they've made, I hope that they're proud about how far that they have come, as I am, then, now, and forever. And then a new chapter opened in the Book of Tempest, and Alder asked if these guys could maintain the vibes. I wanted to know if they could hang. Vanguard, despite all of the hate that you got, despite all of the fear, did you do it? You see, those curtains still rose, and despite all of the hate and fear, you all went out there and we got 4 hungry, talented, funny and creative guys who in the last 5 months showed us exactly what the hell they could do. They sparked a flare with a distinctive hue. They brought unique interests and talents. They opened doors to opportunities. They educated us and brought people together. So, thank you. Thank you. These are some of the things that make us love them, and stay tuned for their upcoming streams. It's partly what inspires people to do fan projects, cosplay, write stories, make art, and countless other activities. It never fails to surprise me how skilled, creative, dedicated, and loving the Tempuras are. Don't ever doubt yourselves, or never fall for the lie that you sometimes tell yourselves. Each and every one of you are so special and have the potential to do great things in and outside of this community. It's intimidating and beautiful at the same time, almost like I'm staring at the sun. How much potential Holo fans have as creative, as a collective. I'm proud of you all. I want to thank the Tempuras for being so awesome. Because of you, I stopped feeling alone. I had something to look forward to the moment my last class of the day ended and I got home. I sometimes joke that I live in pre-chat, but honestly, it's my home. No matter whether it would be 5 p.m. or 5 a.m., it's always been a pleasure to talk to you all. It's been an honor to be a part of such amazing communities. I was inspired to become a self-professed chattertainer, whether it be the Altair pregnancy bit, the Magmo versus Magmo skit, the Battle X Mega Mind fanfiction, the formation of the United Nations, a Peepo, Danny DeVito reciting Bible verses. We made a lot of memories, haven't we? I'm thankful that you all allowed me to tell you stories, to perform for you. Now I'll admit it, I made a lot of mistakes. I'm sorry for my antics, for the trouble that I've caused. I was delusional thinking that commenting on the borderlines in either NSFW or roast comedy would have made me transcendently spectacular. So I dissuade any future Tempuras from doing the same. Don't be like me, be better. But despite all of my antics, you were still willing to see the man behind the mask. And for that, I hope that I repaid you. I changed. I stopped playing a character, and I sought redemption. Beyond that, You've helped me in more ways than you'll ever know. You were my motivation. You wanted me to stop being on say-so, and I said, well, I think that I can do more good than that. And so I did. I gazed at the open horizon of the indie VTuber scene, and I saw opportunities. I've done things like writing lore, helped create a Discord server, and providing someone with a VTuber model. These are the types of things that I hope to continue when I'm gone. It's important to restate this. You were my motivation. You were part of the reason why all of this could happen. I carry you all with my heart and mind, always. Before Hololive, I was a lost kid recovering from the sufferings of the pandemic. I lost friends, I hit rock bottom, and I promised myself that I would help rise above this type of pain. I lost everything. All that was left was an incessant, inexplicable ring in my ears that I found out to be tinnitus. It was hard to accept that I'd have to listen to that ring for the rest of my life. When I watched Bae and Mume do a Christmas watch-along, that sound started to deafen, and my life started to take on color. My mission statement was to make someone laugh or smile. Did I succeed? You'll have to answer that one for me. As I leave, I don't want a single tear to run down anyone's cheeks. Smile. Will you do that for me? One last time. For old time's sakes. For all the other times we've smiled together. Laugh. For all the times that we've laughed together. For all of these memories. Thank you. I love you all. Goodbye. I'm your friendly neighborhood commenter, Zen. Signing out. I gave that speech during May of this year, I believe, and there were more people in that ceremony that I thought there would be. And I'm so happy that there was people who were just so supportive, who said things like, if you ever decide to return,
go ahead. We welcome you with open arms.
I didn't expect that kind of reaction, that it was much better in reality than in my head. So I really thank all of the boys, I really thank all of the girls, I really thank all of the fans, all of my friends, everybody for all of that support. Another thing that they were saying was good luck with whatever adventures, whatever journeys lies ahead of you. And hell, there were quite a bit of things that have been happening ever since I left. I was able to continue and finish that Discord server that I was working with Lo-Fi Wi-Fi. Maybe I'll add the link of that in the description below if you're curious, along with maybe Lo-Fi's channel. But I was able to do that. I was able to continue working on a fan project to help celebrate the anniversaries of Tempest for the Vanguard and with HQ. We worked on a Minecraft server called Tempest Land.
And there's a downloadable map version on the Java edition, which I'll link down below.
What I was working on was a aquarium for Altair. That project ended out beautifully. There was some scuff in the original file that made it out to the public. I'll just say that. But there were so many new journeys that I was able to embark on, including which is this podcast. And so, no matter what journeys I went on and continued with, there was one question that was still on my mind. A question that I started asking while I was still saying goodbye. Will you ever come back? Will we ever see the Posterboy of Degeneracy? Will we see ever Zen in a Hololive or a HOLOstars stream? And I'm here to tell you what I think. And I need to be honest here. And with a podcast named Unmasked, it'd be ironic for me not to. My time as a tempura gave me confidence that I had lost 10 years ago. But for some reasons along the way, I got that stumped out of me. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Zen, what happened to you? Where's the limit pusher, the chattertainer? Well, right now, I'll tell you what's left of that guy. Hunger. The hunger to want to learn and do new things, such as with this podcast. The hunger to constantly take on new challenges. The hunger to achieve and overcome. I don't know if I'll ever come back. I know that if I ever did, it'd be as a much greater and even more importantly, a more good man than I've ever been before. It's gonna take some time. I have professional and educational goals that I need to allocate time to. It's gonna take some time. I've got personal demons that I need to slay. It's going to take some time. I've got grudges that I still need to bury. It's gonna take some time. And when the time comes where I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually ready to come back, then I'll proudly say, yo, it's your friendly neighborhood commenter, Zen here. I really do hope that the day will come. Sorry that this episode is a bit longer than what I originally intended for my episodes to be, but I had fun with this episode. I hope you did too, listening. And I'm not sure what I got planned for next week, but hopefully something juicy. And I definitely didn't get to everything that I've done as a HOLOstars and Hololive fan, but maybe we can get to some of the rest of that on another time. So, I'm your friendly neighborhood podcaster, Zen, signing out.